I'm so happy to have Amber Glendening on the show. She is a senior graphic designer at LMNO Consulting. LMNO has been an agency in Saskatoon for as long as I've been doing photography, and even longer. They've been a staple. They work with some incredible brands around the province. I've had the chance to hear many of your team members speak at conferences like Fuse, and the most recent was Memo Conference, which your team put on. You did an amazing job of that, by the way. One of the best conferences I've been to. I felt lucky. I think I was telling Taylor, I was like very lucky. I was like, Saskatoon needed something like this.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
it was such a gift.
Your team did amazing. I'm sure you had your hands in a lot of things there. But and I met you at Fuse maybe a few years ago, which was really, really fun to work with you. You did all the graphic work for the conference. You gave it all a facelift, which I thought was good. And you kept the logo.
Yeah.
Side note, what do you think about logo changes? Do you love brands that just keep the logo over time?
That's tricky to rebrand it fully. I don't know if you could. There's always going to be like some kind of kickback, but you always have to honor the legacy, unless the legacy definitely needs a change.
Yeah. Do you find like there's an era, like actually at the Memo Conference, I bought the book. I don't know the name.
Designers of Canada?
Yeah, with the CN logo on the front. I bought that. And, that's a logo that's like part of Canadian history, and it's like almost a heritage thing.
Yeah.
If they changed their logo, I feel like there'd be an uproar. I don't know,
exactly. There's that legacy.
Yeah. So anyway, I got to work with you, see your work shine at Fuse, Memo Conference. You're the first graphic designer on the show as well.
Wow.
Which I'm excited about. And in another life, graphic designer would be a role I think would have been really fun for me to do. You have a gift for design, and I think I kind of want to unpack what it's like to be you, what it's like to be a senior graphic designer. You don't just go to the U of S or design college and like learn to be a senior graphic designer. Like you kind of learn it through doing work and being in the industry. So we're going to dive into that. So anyway, that's why I invited you. I'm really happy to have you here. We'll start with some warm-up questions. Okay. So I noticed you had your own design site, Crew Creative. And that used to be what you did before work at LMNO.
That was like what I did prior to working at LMNO. I freelanced for a number of years and sort of do sometimes, but mostly just for friends and whatnot. And I just never really closed that site up because it's just something that's nice to have.
Do you find like for your role, like as a creative, it's worth keeping a portfolio updated?
Yeah.
With, like, I mean, you work at LMNO, like they own the intellectual property that you produce, but like, is that pretty common practice that people collect the work they've done over time? And
yeah, I think for just even anyone who's in the profession sort of needs to kind of keep themselves updated to even just market themselves. So that's, I think, like super important just to keep updated on that, set aside that time for yourself.
Are you pretty good at that? Like, do you do it once a year?
No, I'm terrible at it.
Okay.
It's my goal to get that all updated this year. It was last year. Now it's this year. So I've put away stuff to try to set it up. But I have a family at home, so my off time is pretty busy.
Yeah, well, I wrote in here, this was the next thing. This is, I creeped your site and saw you have 3 kids, grades 3, 7, and 10, which mine are just a year older. So anyway, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
so we share
cool.
A lot of like that stage of life, and we talked about it before we started rolling, but like, your work as a creative probably in your younger years was like all consuming, and now it's like work is just a part of your life. So I got some quick fire questions. You can pass on any of these if you like, or just give me a quick answer. Okay. Or we can dive into them a little bit. But first one, morning or night owl?
I'm learning to be a morning person, but tend to be more of a night owl.
Do you think the kids are pushing you to
be more of a night owl? Yeah, for sure. They don't go to bed at night.
Yeah? Okay. Well, teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Office or remote?
I like office. It's nice to just get away from home. I did the home world for a while, and then started back into the office world. Then COVID happened, and then that was nice and everything. I actually really enjoyed working from home and homeschooling my kids. That was great. But now it's like I like being at the office because then it's easier to leave work at work, and then you come home and you're at home.
Do you ever coffee shop work it, or do you like, or even at work? I've done one tour at your space. It was years ago, but do you like working just totally isolated, or with, in a bullpen of people on like shared tables and stuff?
It depends on the project. If it's something that requires no distraction, I'll go find someplace quiet, or I will go work from home that day.
Do you work better alone or like collaboratively? Like, do you love a good brainstorm session?
I love a good brainstorm. Yeah, it's good, but I do like to take that brainstorm and ingest it and kind of let it bubble and try things out without judgment. So it's nice to just kind of work on my own and try to come up with solutions and then reshare with the team and then go from there. See if it meets the ask or
tablet or sorry, like a Wacom tablet
yeah.
/ iPad with a stylus, or do you prefer a mouse?
To be honest, I haven't really tried the tablet with the pen.
Okay.
Maybe I'm old school, and it's not because I'm anti-tablet. I haven't tried it yet.
Go-to digital tool?
Illustrator.
Adobe Illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you feel like, here, just a side question, do you feel like that app is kept up, and has it kind of stayed the same over the last 10, 15 years, or?
It's becoming more powerful. Like, I don't know if you've ever used it, but there is now a AI tool within it that can take your illustration and make it 3D. So if you like make an illustration, you're like, I think in this composition, it would make more sense if the character was looking up and to the left. You can do that.
Is it good?
I mean, it's not bad. I mean, if anything, it's a good reference. So it saves you time.
I think I've seen that online because it works with like illustrated drawings, like where it looks like it was drawn with a crayon or more detailed and stuff like that. Does it work on photos too? Or objects?
I haven't tried that.
Like if you had a photorealistic cup, like could you rotate it, to be more top view? Or
I feel like that would be a Photoshop thing.
Okay.
If it was an illustration of a cup, probably.
Okay.
Yep.
Music, podcast, or silence while working?
Music or podcast.
Okay. Do you batch tasks or jump between them?
Depends. I can jump between them, but it is way more efficient just to, batch it and just get it all done one thing at a time.
Pen and paper or, digital list?
Pen and paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last one. One thing you'd delete from your calendar forever, if you could.
Such as? I don't know. If
meetings.
I could think of,
I don't know. Some people hate
oh.
meetings. Some people hate, whatever.
I don't think anything, really. No, nothing top of mind.
That's good. Awesome. We're going to jump into you and sort of the industry. So you work at LMNO.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard them speak about being a B Corp a couple times.
Yeah.
What has that journey meant for the team and the work you do? So for as a graphic designer, I remember, I can't remember if it was Garnet mentioning it or
Blair?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them, probably.
You know what? It was Blair. Yeah. But he talked about like compressing video a certain way saved energy and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm curious in your world, like how that plays out. And, do you have a say in that? And I assume some of it functionally would be maybe you don't do, as much printed ads or mailers or something like that. But I'd be curious in your part of the company, where that comes out.
Well, so for B Corp, that's actually how the business runs and how they operate within their, how they operate their business, how they treat their employees, how they, what are they doing for the community?
Governance.
Basically, governance, work. Yeah, exactly. So it's more like that kind of level. It's very analytical. But you're thinking of sustainability.
Cause I assume then that's just a part of B Corp?
It is, yeah. So like what are we doing internally for that environment, for the environment? So thinking about like like the digital space has a massive energy, like it eats energy like crazy with server rooms and stuff. So just thinking about how we can develop products online that will run faster and lighter. So interfaces, maybe they're a little bit more vector based, which can be run on code. So SVGs.
Versus a photo would be typically
Yeah,
bitmap,
but if you need to use photos, there's like ways to reduce that as well. There's a few different ways you can compress images, still keep the quality, and have it still look beautiful. But it takes up less energy, and it loads faster. So you appeal to those people with their short attention spans.
Yeah.
Because lots of people, if the website's loading too slow, they're going to click off right away. So it's a win-win. You're doing better for the environment and you're keeping your audience engaged.
So is it a bragging right for LMNO, just like is it a bragging right to be a B Corp? Like I know.
I don't know if what it is a step forward. There's a lot of companies jumping on board to be B Corp, and it's because as a business, it's important to do things like the best way you can do. And you'd be surprised like how much you're already doing. And it's just like going through the grading process. You could,
because there's a score you get, right?
It is a score, yeah. So you just apply, and it could be things that you're already doing.
I remember I was talking, my brother-in-law works in the investing world. And so they do, they run like it's not a mutual fund, but it's kind of like that. And he was talking to me, this is a few years ago, but what's the thing? There's a document that companies were getting.
PDF?
No, sorry. No,
sorry.
like governance, GES or something like that.
Is it ESG?
ESG. That was it.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
But he was saying actually like in the investing world, like people won't even invest in you. Like if you don't have an ESG report. And it wasn't just like having it, but it was like if your ESG score's good, which is kind of maybe similar to like, I guess it's self-made, what you're doing for the governance. What was the acronym?
ESG?
ESG, environment, sustainability and governance or something. I think that's what those were. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll fact check that later.
Yeah, we should fact check that. Take that out if it's not anything, Darcy. But yeah, I found that interesting. Just like, like top tier companies have to do it, or else like they could lose getting investing from other places. So interesting. I think that's interesting too. Just like having standards like that are like they're not government mandated, but it's like, okay, are we being a good company or not?
Yeah.
I guess it's up to us to like decide. And just because you don't have to do something doesn't mean you shouldn't do it.
That's right. And it's just kind of good because you're showing your employees that you care about their well-being and about the community and not just about bottom line. So it's good. Like we're in the B Corp world with like Lego and Tom and Jerry's, so that's pretty fun.
I do like those two brands.
Yeah.
I do like those two brands. Let's get into marketing. Let's talk about what kind of projects light you up the most. So as a graphic designer, I'm assuming there's certain types of brands you find are fun. Some of them you just do because you have to, but like, what are the ones that kind of light you up a little bit?
I love brand design, and I like being able to think about how people are going to use it and interact with it. So, and end user design. So in that sense as well. So like if we're designing a website, how are people viewing it? How are they going to interact it? Are they going to be able to find where they're going easily? I kind of compare it to, we did our kitchen a few years ago. And while we were designing and figuring out what we wanted to do in our kitchen, we had to think about where's the cutlery going to go? Where are the plates going to go? Like what drawers do I need in order for there to be space for pots next to the stove? So just even like thinking about moving in that physical space, it's the same as a virtual world. So just like where when I land on the page, am I going to be enticed enough to like scroll around and find out what I'm looking for? Am I going to find what I'm looking for right off the hop? So it's, I love being able to just think about how that person will be involved in that.
You talked about logos as well, like
hmm
brand guides. Is that still a
Brand,
thing you would spend a
oh,
lot of time on?
absolutely. I think as a company, you have to have a brand guide in order to have all of your touch points make sense. So your social should look like your brand, your website, your billboards, your products, like everything, like physical products. It you need to have that continuity. So making sure that you have like a solid guide in place is just, otherwise you're just throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what like you can. None of the spaghetti is going to look the same
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it's up
yeah.
there. So it's just it's good to have, especially if you have a big team, to have a style sheet.
Is that kind of like, I mean, you talked about a kitchen reno
Yeah.
just 5 seconds ago,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
do you find it like, it's something you want to keep changing? I mean, we even talked about portfolios and like updating your portfolio as a
hmm
designer. Like, is a brand guide something that should be kind of a living document, or you
Yeah,
update
yeah.
it once a year, or it lasts a while, or you make a new guide every time you have a new medium? Like X company starts going on social media, should that have its own individual guide variant of the main guide? Or I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm kind of
yeah,
curious.
exactly. Guides are living most of the time because you don't know, the industry does change, especially right now. Um, and like, and even when you might start off with, XYZ, and then like you just have your basics like colors, fonts, shapes, logos, icons. But then as you're growing, you're like, oh, actually, we're getting a lot of response over here. Well, then that guide should probably branch off to that, and then you know develop that that stage in that area to make sure that it's all continuous.
As a
But
as a video photo company, we got to see a lot of brand guides because some of the clients we've worked with, like Lululemon, we did a project for. It
Mm,
was like photographing their ambassadors. This is a few years ago, but they sent us their whole brand guide. I got to look through it. I'm sure it's dated now, but
hmm
like they've updated it. But it was kind of interesting because even the photography styling was in there.
yep.
BHP is another company we did some work for,
Oh
and
yeah.
because we do video, we had a there was ways to film and ways to present the company that
hmm
someone had probably like
Thought
you
about,
thought
yeah,
about, put it in this guide.
right,
So
and
you're
probably even end cards and
actually,
third,
yeah.
yeah. So probably, yeah, all of that stuff gets included in it.
And then do you find like do you enjoy, you sit back at your computer, you crack your knuckles, and you're like, okay, we're gonna do this. Like, is that kind of a fun thing to start building? Like when you have the permission to just like take an established brand and do an update? Is that
It's exciting, yeah. I think like every project in there, when especially if they're branching off into a new thing. Like we have a client that's branching off into recipes. So like just a small example. So but that's really interesting. How are those recipes going to look? And then will they go on social? Will they just be printouts? Um, but it's just any kind of like, it's like any kind of brief is exciting to work with, because then that's like, okay, you have a goal here. What is that goal? If And it's that challenge of problem solving that I really like the most.
so? So you worked at you were like freelancing,
hmm
and now you work with LMNO, which is
hmm
like, how many people are there right now? Is it like 40?
43, 44.
Yeah, like
hmm
that's not like, that's a big difference going to zero to a pretty
Yeah,
big
yeah.
team. Um, do you quite enjoy the collaborative process in what you do? Like, do you enjoy sort of the
Not wearing all the hats.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's nice because you're dealing with people, or you're working with people who have, they're very good at strategy. They're very good in whatever it is that they're their expertise in. So like even estimating and project coordinating, like it's you can just, and that allows you to just focus on the design, but you're also, and then you're also working with writers and sometimes freelancers. So it's just a lot more freeing. You don't have to think about everything like, oh, what's this going to cost and how long is it going to take? You just do the work and you make it the best you can in the time that you do have.
How big is a typical team? Like I'm assuming not. I'm assuming there's never a project where everything's all hands on deck.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what's like sort of a team composition for, the experience from a client side? Let's say on like a bigger contract, are they working with, they're working with the account manager, they're working with you. I mean, maybe not directly, but how many people kind of make up a great team for building a campaign or doing any of these big projects?
Usually there's a creative director, there's a writer, there's a designer, there's a studio artist, there's account manager, sometimes an account, like an associate. I can't remember what that title is right now. And there's also a project manager that kind of makes sure everything kind of flows. So there's a lot of people on most projects. I mean, it depends on the scope. Sometimes there's more, sometimes there's 2 designers. Sometimes there's...
How many senior designers are at LMNO?
2.
Yeah. And then do you kind of manage other designers, like junior designers? Or I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't actually know all the
the hierarchy.
titles.
I don't know if it's a hierarchy. It's not really. It's more like just project guiding.
Okay.
But there's no juniors right at the moment anyway. It's a studio. There's a studio that kind of handle all the final outputs. And then as a senior designer, I kind of just decide how it's going to look and all the different touch points, and then I hand it off and someone builds it. Or I have that experience. I can finish a project all the way to the end.
You mentioned in your intake form when you booked in brand consistency. So, but yeah, any brands you think have really nailed that consistency, and maybe do you have any favorite brands? Actually, maybe that's a better question.
Oh, favorite brands.
Or brands that inspire you? Like when you look at the work or the products, like I actually find I'm hugely drawn to Lululemon as a brand. Like you go to the store.
It always looks the same. Yeah.
It looks the same. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know how recent it was, but they put the screens behind the kiosks. And they have like looping videos and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that would be cool. Like I like the simplicity of the marketing. But yeah, any favorite brands or anything?
I like Apple, but that's because like they're very techy and they're very smooth. No matter where you go, like it always looks the same. You can recognize an Apple product everywhere. But I'm trying to think
or magazines even. I actually find magazines are what inspired me to want to get into photography. So I was telling you I went to college I dropped out, but I went to college for like a new media program, and we had to do some projects where we used text and photography together.
Oh yeah.
And like that, just like I loved it. And then I started getting into Vanity Fair magazine.
Okay.
And I would buy them just to like look at how they would lay out a editorial.
Oh, beautiful. And you'd always know a Vanity Fair always just looks the same too. Like they have a certain style that they stick with. Same with National Geographic. Yeah. Like even their media now, it's still, you can tell that it's National Geographic just because of the quality of the video, like in their documentaries that they have on Disney Plus.
Yeah, they do such a good job. I recently watched I think it was the whale one. They did a video. I think it was whales anyway. But yeah, it's like so good. Mm-hmm. I'm a photographer. Like that's,
really?
Yeah. Tell me about like using photography in design. Like, is that fun for you? Do you prefer blank canvases with just graphics and text? Do you love the marriage of different mediums? And even getting out of digital to like physical things. Do you ever design physical signage or anything in like tactile products? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I used to work for a sign company, and I was able to do like all kinds of vehicle graphics, which was really exciting because that's like a moving billboard. And I even got to learn how to apply the vinyl to the vehicles. So it was also very
That's
exciting.
an art.
Yeah, it is an art. It's because it'll stick to itself. I did a hot dog. I don't know, do we call it a bus or like a cart, like one of those driving ones? I can't remember what they was called,
Like
but
the Oscar Mayer Wiener car?
no,
Or-
no, not that big. No, it was just for like the exhibition. So, but that was also really fun to see that kind of come into life. But what was the first question you asked again?
Photography mixed with
Yeah.
design. Like, so if, like how you kind of like playing with mediums and playing with.
I used to do a lot of like collage type work, and that was my favorite. I love working in Photoshop, specifically for sports teams that I worked with. They always loved to, like, you just take all that action shot from previous seasons and you just make this really nice collage of like, it's like a celebration for the eyes, I guess. But yeah, but even just like photography generally is really, it's awesome to work with. Probably 80% of the time working with photography in the mediums we put together.
With
Like,
social media and video. Like, I mean, I was on LinkedIn, I think it was yesterday, and just like there was like literally posts about like just how videos like on LinkedIn's becoming an actual social network. I actually I kind of enjoy it.
yeah.
I mean, that was, I think, how that was how I reached out to you to come.
Mhm.
It's like I'm tired of Instagram a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's become, more of that professional ground where people are sharing actual content that matter. And it's not just, boosting. It's not just for business, it's for people.
You know what I like about it the most? Is that it's less divisive. Like, it's not like, like social media, even YouTube Shorts, and YouTube is like a lot of like even political content. I don't really enjoy watching that. I don't like I don't even like watching the news, to be honest, because I don't like it's typically just like,
you don't know what to believe anyway,
well,
right?
I mean, well, it's just like divisive, where it's like people are trying to get people mad at other people or talk about how bad the world is, or I mean, even the word crisis is used in news like this incredible amount of time, and there's not actually that many crises, but
yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, back to LinkedIn. Video is important on there more than ever.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so in your design, are you starting to do graphic design and having to go into like programs like After Effects and learning that, or making designs work with motion, or do you do any animation as a graphic designer?
Yep, I do. And it's such a nice playground to have, because you can, even if you're like designing a logo, you can make that come to life, and just what a joy that is to like be able to make this logo have its own little character and dance on screen. But yeah, I do last few years, a lot of more video. And
what apps do you typically do that in? Like,
all After Effects, but I also use, like, even for digital media, like ad design, I use what's it called? Animate. Sorry.
Is that like an iPad app, or is that?
Animate is Adobe as well.
Okay.
It's just for digital ads.
Oh, I think I've seen that. Yeah.
So like when you're on a website and you get served that little 300 by 250 square ad, those kind of ads. So it's all HTML based. So it's got some animation properties as well.
So it's not actually it's not rendering out a video. It's like
it's all code. Well, there's some, no, not usually video. That's a little big for those little spots, but you can put photography in there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
One of the people at Memo, I think it was George Strombolopoulos, actually. Were you kind of like, were you totally busy that day, or did you get to watch him talk?
Yeah, I got to watch him. Yeah, he was good.
Because he said something about Story that kind of stood out to me. I think it was Joelle, who was moderating the conversation, said something like, or just talked about Story, and then he was like, Story's just a vessel. Like, I mean, you could tell stories about, I mean, I kind of interpreted it as like, yeah, okay, it's like you can have good design and bad design. You can have good design or good stories, bad stories. Like, we're taking people's attention. Are we making it worth their while? Are we? I don't know. Maybe I don't know what your insight is into that. Maybe you don't like this.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, he really had a lot of. That's the thing. He's a very good storyteller, and which is probably why I'm struggling with this. I might not be a very good storyteller, but visually, I can take a story and put it together and make it make sense um, in a visual way, which is kind of when putting together like storyboards for ads. Uh, it's
You do that? That's part
yeah,
of what you do? Okay.
yeah.
And like, so tell me, maybe I'm just kind of curious on the process. So let's say you're making a 30-second commercial.
Hmm.
Or, I mean, I don't even know what the standard is
Okay,
anymore. You got
it's
YouTube
about
pre-rolls.
30, yeah, and then
Okay.
you have to format it for social. Usually, cut it down.
Okay. So you have a 30-second video that's part of the deliverables for client.
Hmm.
The messaging is given by someone else. Like you kind of know what they're saying. And maybe,
Yeah,
is there a script made already, or are you kind of,
yeah, that's usually done by a writer. So then you take the writer's script and then you kind of make the space for what this is visually going to look like. So, what is the background? Are we going to use video? How is the video going to connect with the message? How is the how is the text going to get in there? Do you want a seat copy actually on the screen, or do you just want it to be narrative?
and you're making those kind of choices?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
with a team. Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
I actually find, so we make a lot of social content for
mhm.
our clients, and it's like, when should you have it as voice? When should you have it as text? When should you have it as both, perhaps?
Yeah,
When should you just show it by
right.
like, whether it's tactile or in action or, emotionally or whatever. But
That's right. Yeah, and where is it going? So if it's going on social, usually you got to have some kind of you have to incorporate like ASR. What is that called?
ASMR?
No, 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 the ASL.
Where you hear it really close and quiet. Oh, ASL. Okay.
Yeah,
Like subtitles and
subtitles
stuff
and stuff. Yeah. So like you also have to make sure that when you're designing that no one's faces are going to get covered by that area. So there's just so many considerations when putting together the story to make sure that that you're conscientious about where it's going, who's looking at it, um, is it offensive? Because you don't want to ever do that, of course.
What's like a kind of like normal workday look like as far as like what you're actually working on? Like, what do you spend a lot of your time working on? Are you sitting in app, like in Illustrator, in InDesign, in Photoshop? Are you
It's
doing a lot of sketching?
it's everywhere. Like it depends on the project. So sometimes I'm on paper, right, drawing out ideas because it's just easier and quicker to do that way for that I find. Um, but it could be a day full of meetings and presentations. It could be a day just working on one project. It could be a day just working on like a bunch of little ones because everything is out and it's coming back with client edits or it's just it's a varied day, so you're never bored for sure. It's always different, and sometimes it's video, and sometimes it's print, and sometimes it's social.
Do you do like slide decks ever, or
Oh
presentation
yeah,
documents like PDFs or,
it's like
PowerPoint?
yeah, definitely. I, that's pretty regular. Yeah.
Here's one I know you could rant on a little bit. Because we've had this happen a couple times. People just want a template, or in the photo world, it's like, oh, just give us a preset and then we can just make all the photos match. I'm like, it's not that simple.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way with like, people want a template and you're like, well, like that, if you
Yeah.
make something to work for everything, it almost works for nothing, or it's just
Yeah.
lowest common denominator. Like,
Yeah. I think yeah, the word template it works for like some things, but for the most part that's we give them like just some ideas and then we'll add that to like the style guide and that will kind of depict on how and then you hope that they can figure it out because some clients do a lot of things internally. um, so then you like often part of the deliverables we'll provide is like like different graphic assets that they can use in Canva, which is
What do you think of
like,
Canva, actually?
I haven't used it,
No.
but I think it has its uses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's helpful for people who don't know design software. Like, it's very user friendly, so anyone can use it. Like, especially for like your social, you need to do something quick. You can just pop it into Canva, and there's pre-templated things, so it has its use, I think.
I find that world of templates really interesting. Even like you go on what's the website called? Etsy or
Yep.
something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Etsy, you can buy like PDF templates for like making presentations, or like slide decks that you can just fill out, or like even what's one I've seen recently is like something to do your proposals, and they're like, they're very sexy documents that look really good, but then when you put your own stuff into it, it lacks. I find nothing that's templated usually works drag and drop.
No.
Because let's say
you have to
it's
modify.
a very monochromatic guide, and then the portfolio work you're putting in is like colorful event photography that doesn't work.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, templates are interesting because we get a lot of requests for them, and then sometimes they come back and go, well, we actually can't get this to work. It's like, so then that's another problem you have to solve, which is interesting, because then that gives you that feedback. It's like, well, okay, next time we do this, how do we make it better so it is easier, and kind of like, I don't want to say dummy proof, but dummy proof for people to use. Especially, we get a lot more PowerPoint template requests than we ever used to, because people want their slides to look branded and presentable for their own shareholders.
I find that one's a good example. The whole PowerPoint thing.
Yeah, and that's a hard program to use.
yeah. So it's like now you're rastering out everything from your Illustrator to files to put them on as transparent layers. Within the layers get moved, and then they go slide to slide, and then the logo's shifting on every slide. Or even like the way you'd lay out text, like maybe it just doesn't look good, so you literally have to I'm assuming this, use different words or take a different sample, or I don't know.
Like in PowerPoint, it's sometimes the font doesn't even load if it's a stylized font. So then we run into this internally with our own PowerPoints. Not everybody can open it up and make it look the same, because they have to download the template,
have all the fonts
in this style, and then all the fonts have to be installed in their computer. And depending if they're like looking at it in a browser, because there's the Google option, you can't actually use those Google slides and have that templated with our style guides anyway. So you have to manually save it to your computer, and then it's just you think by now those simple things would be kind of fixed.
I feel like some things go forward. I find fonts, actually. I'd be curious what you think about fonts. Like, so we have the Adobe suite for our studio, because we use Photoshop's like our main app that we use from Adobe, but we have anything we want to do with design, we have the fonts, and so Adobe handles its own fonts. But then when you try to use it in another app, it can do it, but then half the time it's not in the computer, or you load that program or project on another computer, then the fonts aren't there, even though you have access to them.
Yeah.
So I've had to go back and like figure out ways to, like, Adobe hides their fonts in some library file on the thing, and so you have to go find them.
Okay. And
then you put them in your actual computer, so they're not tied to Adobe anymore.
Yeah.
It's like breaking this, the whatever content restriction thing. But
that's where Google Fonts is really helpful.
But then they don't have like all the fonts.
No, they don't have everything, but it's universal, which is
that the
good.
point of that?
I think so.
Like we had a girl on our team redo our brand guides, and that was one of the things we did, was like just use Google Fonts, so we can, like, our logo itself is a font that's not anywhere, but then our brand fonts aren't the same as the logo font. So then they're just anywhere. They're easy to get. They're in the Google apps. So I don't know. I find that kind of interesting, though.
Yeah.
We kind of talk about collaboration, but like, what do you find? What do you find special about being on a team? Like, what do you like about that like process? You work with a lot of talented people who have skills outside of you.
Yeah.
Do you do work that you're super proud of, or do you ever just stand back and you're like, wow, that's pretty cool?
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time, if the main first idea hadn't been dissected too much from like just client revisions, but yeah, you get a lot of energy working with creative people because a lot of the time they're just so much fun. We always like razz each other and
From the outside
picking it.
looking in, you guys have a pretty cool culture.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is pretty good. Like there's always like different things. Like we do lunch and learns. We have potlucks. We have think tank Thursdays, which is like just a for fun. Let's get together and brainstorm on something. It doesn't necessarily have to be client related, which is kind of fun just to kind of get outside a realm and you're brainstorming with everybody on the team. So it's a really good way to connect. And then we always have like a social on Thursdays as well, where there's snacks.
I love snacks. Sugar or savory? What's your
savory?
Yeah. Potato chips or what?
I like Doritos.
Doritos, like this regular old cheese, or do you like the zesty one? So I like the regular one.
Yeah, I like regular, but I'm not opposed to zesty once in a while.
They had a lime one. I don't know if they still do. They had a lime one that was actually not too bad. What's something you've been thinking about working on? Maybe a design idea, just something that is more for you as a creative person.
I actually do have a side project that I haven't been able to put on the computer, but I have a ton of sketches. It's just these little plant illustrations that give me a lot of joy. And my sketchbook is full of them. So they'll be like just different styles of plants, and then I'll give them a personality. Like one is of an aloe plant, and that says something corny like, I'll always be here for you. Just little things like that. And it's just nice to have that as mine, because there isn't going to be a client that's going to change that, or there's no brief to kind of to have to navigate it. It's just for me for fun. And I often thought, well, maybe this could be, I could build on this and make an Etsy shop or something like that.
Do you prefer like I assume you like different parts of any type of client work, but like big projects, or even like I'm sure you have clients, or I know you have clients that you're not the only agency that works with them, because they kind of spread it out between other agencies. But that compared to like, do you ever get handed like the small business that's just like a bit of a different approach, like a little bit more like they just, you're not having to coordinate so many things. You're not too locked down. Oh, like, is there anything like that you got to do? That's like a little
just
more
small business.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's definitely that. I mean, then they're usually like, they're not, you don't get to develop like the giant big brand for them. It's like they just want, a website, or they just need a logo. But then often they come back after you've done that and they're like, okay, we actually need to build this up a little bit more. So then you get to work on the bigger project.
I saw IRD. You did a rebrand for them. I know we're not talking about clients too much. But,
yeah.
Did you work on that one?
I did, but not at the beginning, kind of more towards the middle.
Okay. Do you enjoy that type of work? Like taking, their old brand was like sort of a heritage thing. I mean, you go, they're pretty old. So you go drive down the highway, you see the IRD logo.
Yeah.
To go then change it. Is that kind of fun? Or is there weight to it? Like you're carrying, you don't want to just reinvent it for the sake of reinventing it. Like,
it's not a name change. So it's a refresh. So then it's like, you're just, you're considering that legacy and you're just amplifying it. So, we, without changing, because the name is still the same. And I think with that one, even the shape of the logo sort of stayed the same. But it was just, a little bit more modernized, a little bit more forward thinking.
Did you make the LMNO logo?
No.
Can you talk about any logos you've made? If you can't, that's fine. Like if you were to update
Yeah.
your portfolio, what would you put on there?
Probably like more the personal stuff that I've been doing on. I have a friend who I've just been helping her with her rebrand. She is a speaker, a faith speaker, and actually, she just speaks on faith and domestic violence and
Like Christian or like
Catholic.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been helping her. That's a rebrand because I made her logo like 15 years ago, and she's like, I'm starting to develop digital products. So what can we do to make this, cohesive? So now, before we just had a logo and a website, now I'm developing out like this big brand guideline for her that talks about like all the different products that she has. Like she has different columns that she writes for, and then she has different speaking points that she'll speak on. Like she has, she does work with like leaders in like Catholic leaders, but then also like just individually as for people. She does like a lot of inspirational speaking. So she'll go speak to like churches or women's retreats or things like that. And then she also does work on domestic violence, which is really admirable, I think. But anyway, so all those little things need to have something cohesive. So just developed like a font system and an icon system that could kind of speak to those little parts. And it's something we're still like working on together. But she's going to have video. So we got to think about like, what do those graphics look like on your video? What does your social look like now? So she's really just expanded a lot in her own digital space. So now I'm helping her with that.
You're lighting up a lot while you talk about it. Like,
yeah.
what do you like? Is that something that really inspires you to work on because it's meaningful to you? And like,
Yeah.
and maybe the bigger question is, how do you stay inspired? Like you told me 2002 you became a designer. That's 23 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, once in a while I think maybe I should go back to school, be a nurse. And I'm like, no, I do still like this.
My wife's a nurse, and
oh, what an admirable job.
Yeah. She definitely comes home with some stories for me.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
but I don't know. But yeah, so like, what keeps you inspired?
I really like lighting people up. So making them feel good about what they have to use for their business. And I've always just loved making things for people. Like even when I was a kid, I'd always be making drawings for family or friends. And I don't know if they always loved it, but I loved giving it to them. So,
Yeah.
And then, so that just kind of carries forward in this work is like, I like working with people and for people and making things.
Were you the drawer, the artist in school? Like always had the pencil, crayons and crayons?
Yeah,
or did you...
I did more drawing than notes, I think. But
and then where in your story did you kind of switch into liking graphic arts? Like
that was accidental, actually. I had gotten approved to join the Disney school, and then that was very expensive and kind of out of my realm. So I was looking for alternatives, and I got into this.
So you literally wanted to be an animator.
I was like, I don't know, what can you do as a drawer? Like there's like architecture or animation. So I just was exploring, and I happened to just stumble into this media school, which actually worked out. I ended up just loving it.
What school?
Applied Multimedia Training Center.
Is that here?
No, it was in Calgary. It's closed now.
Yeah, the college I went to was closed. But
yeah.
I think it's a tough go for educational institutes.
I think so, yeah.
Especially if it's not like, take this and you get a job.
Yep.
But I don't know.
Yeah. And at the time it was good because it really taught you how to teach yourself. So which is what you need in this industry is you have to constantly be learning and evolving and changing. And now it's so quick. Like it takes, like with AI, everything is changing so fast. It's so hard to keep up. So there's,
you said you use Figma, which is like a newer-ish app. Like,
yeah.
Late 2010s, like 2017? I think the first time I heard about it was like 2018 or 19.
Could be. I don't even remember when I started. Well, we started using it a few years ago just in house, but it is a lot more intuitive than the XD. Hate to say.
Is that Adobe's product?
Yeah.
Okay. And these are like prototyping sort of.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
animate.
It's mostly for digital products, so I think you can do app design on there as well.
Okay.
But we use it, or I use it, I guess, for web space.
Yeah, and so you're actually drawing up like site maps and stuff like that too, or.
Yep.
Is that, you have a writer for the copy, you have the strategy person for sort of like what's the
directing,
goal?
Yeah,
directing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you're actually going in and being like, okay.
So taking all those parts and, this is mapping out where things are going to go, what's the flow look like. And then once that's approved, then you can go in and design all the parts and think about and incorporating all like the brand elements and shapes and, decide if you're going to do video or if you're going to do photos or if it's going to be graphic heavy, make all those decisions at that point. But wireframe, you're just, what are people going to see when they land here? Where are the buttons going to be? What's the menu going to look like? Those kinds of decisions.
How big is the logo?
Yeah. Make the logo bigger.
Yeah. I actually love understated logos. Even when I watch a lot of YouTube content, like I watch more YouTube than that's like way more than anything else. And like if it's anything story driven, I love small text on the screen. Like I think it just looks so cool. Like the way you would see it in a movie theater. It's like you have a huge screen. You don't need to make it the whole screen. Like we can make things small. And it's like, and it means something. I mean, it's probably where when you're talking the story, it's like you're guiding people through sort of an experience with a brand. And I don't know, I find it very interesting. And I wish I had the skill set you have. I'm very jealous of it. So thank you so much for being here, by the way. But before we go, what's one mindset, tool, or strategy you think more people should adopt? And maybe a better question to this is, if you quit in the next 2 weeks and you were trying to train your predecessor, what's the advice you would give them?
I guess always be open-minded and be consistent when it comes to being consistent with their brand voice and like how they're and how they kind of show up online specifically, because everybody sees them. Like your online presence is probably the first place anyone's going to go. So making sure those touch points are really consistent and considered.
I like that.
Okay.
Amber, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Matt.
I appreciate it. I really admire the work you do and the creative brain you bring. And I've only seen a sliver of it. I'm very curious to see your artistry notebook, and I want to see your plans. If people want to find you, LinkedIn is probably the best place. Yeah. Or go to LMNO to get meetlmno.com if you want to have her talents. So thanks for being here.
Thank you, Matt.